Hello, my name's Scott Cooper.
Hello, Scott Cooper. My name's Sir Sick. Well, if I'm honest, that's not really my name, but you humans would explode at the sheer mind-boggling complexity of my true name, so I choose not to use it out of the goodness of my heart, and not because I'm just way too lazy to say it, like an Australian wishing you a good day. Hey, they need that extra split second that good day saves them for bumming around on the beach all day, having barbecues. What do you mean stereotype? You know it's true.
I was a pharmaceutical rep for Merck Sharp and Dome, or Merck Human Health Company, as they became.
Okay, wow. So does that mean you were one of those guys that help make certain healthcare systems look so bloody terrifying by selling medicine as a commodity instead of a necessity and giving unscrupulous doctors trips to the Bahamas if they choose to promote said goods to their customers, I mean patients? I'm sure even people who think that their healthcare system is generally just peachy keen probably find that practice to be pretty skeevy. Even if the product works, it just seems like you don't want doctors prescribing random crap to get their numbers up to be eligible for a cruise, just in case, right? If that is what you did, well, I'm glad to hear you stopped. Why did you stop? If your company did do that, it's because of that, right? And not a really dumb reason, yeah?
I was a Vice President's Club Award winner in 1992, and
Vice President's Club Award? That sounds kind of multi-level marketing-y. Not saying that it is, please don't sue me poor, but it sounds it, okay? Also, your breathing thing, I'm not pointing it out to mock you or anything, although you would think that if you worked for a company that sells medicine, you might have gotten that scene too. But I notice it because my own sudden intake of breath in my recordings. It's something that I am super paranoid about and drives me kind of crazy when I can't cut it out without it all sounding weird. And, sorry, I'll get back to the video. Damn it!
I just wanted to share a story.
Do it! I love stories, especially ones with race cars and dragons. That shit is toit. But you know what I hate? Stories about kids. Kids are lame and stupid. Also, if my kids are listening, hey babies, daddy doesn't mean you. You are better than them. And that's not bias, it's just a fact backed up by science of my kids being better than yours TM.
My child was born in 91. He's now going to be 24 this year.
God damn it. Mine are still better. I mean, yours is old now, so no one gives them cool toys as presents. And then you get to hog it for most of Christmas Day under the guise of just making sure it works, honey, as you proceed to play Scalextrics till their bedtime. Oh, I guess you'll have to play tomorrow. And then you proceed to play with it till it breaks. Or you pass out. Good times.
He was never vaccinated.
Oh, for God damn it. It's this kind of video. I really need to start reading the names of videos and paying attention to the title cards and not being constantly drunk. No, wait, not that last one. Otherwise, I'd never finish a video. That and I can't read, so it's a moot point.
He grew up very, very healthy, rarely if ever sick.
Talking of bias, good old confirmation bias. I mean, maybe your kid was hardly ever sick. Or maybe the times he was didn't count for some reason. Or you just forgot because your brain was like, shh, ignore the poorly. Our kid is magic because no vaccines. Who knows? Who cares? Who dares to wonder?
And always much healthier than his peers. When they were all running around, all the kids had runny noses, drank a lot of milk, were all vaccinated.
Again, that sounds like confirmation bias and a little bit of my kid is better bias, which is impossible as we have already established. Mine are the best, duh. But really, you saw every single kid with a runny nose all the time and not just like one or two one time, and yours never ever had that runny nose because that sounds likely. Also, drinking milk, okay, not sure what that has to do with your kids being vaccinated or not. I mean, animals are vaccinated, but that doesn't mean it has anything to do with their output, as you might call it. I don't think that's how that works.
My child was always healthy, runny nose free, always very, very healthy and smart.
The way you say this, it sounds like he's deed. I know you said he's 24 now, but it just comes off as very strange. Oh, I know. He's dead to you now because he wised up like so many kids of anti-vaxxers do and went and got himself vaccinated against your wishes. Man, that is actually the most heartwarming act of rebellion there is.
And if I can digress a little bit, this was 1990, so the internet wasn't really available.
Those dark times when we had to, and I know this is going to be very, very upsetting for a lot of you, but please control yourselves. We had to pay for porn like savages.
I had read numerous books.
Don't lie, you can't read. No one can. Oh, well, it's just me. Well, why didn't anybody tell me? They did? By letter. Well, that's just taking the piss.
On vaccines. And like most people, I grew up believing in vaccines from what I was told in school.
I know when they say believing in vaccines, they mean believing in the efficacy of vaccines, but I like to pretend that they really mean is that they don't think they exist, like unicorns or dinosaurs.
And it became a real shock to me when I started reading and learning that vaccines were not only ineffective, but also there were major risks involved with vaccination.
Well, where the hell did you read that? Because it's just wrong. It's hard to know where to start. No, vaccines are not only not effective, they are, as has been stated countless times, ridiculously effective, often giving lifetime immunity. Now, not every single one works like that, sure, but if any work like that, then going, oh, they're ineffective, you're either a liar or a moron. And the major risks thing is also total horse dungles. The only major risk is giving a vaccine to someone who can't take one, which is an extremely small percentage of the population, and we make sure that the people we do give them to aren't those people.
So when I found out my wife was pregnant...
That, oh God, why swallow though? Come on, man, it's okay. You can say that you regret having your kid. I mean, he was automatically worse than mine, so I can understand the feeling. It's okay. Hashtag still not biased, though.
I had a discussion with her about not vaccinating, and of course, she was pro-vaccine.
Oh, thank God. And I'm sure she said, no, stop being stupid, got your kid vaccinated, everything was fine, and you all lived happily ever after. Thank Christ. I thought you were going to do something stupid like not vaccinate. And no, I don't remember the last few minutes of this video, thank you very much. Why would you even ask that?
And so I made her a deal. At the time, I worked for a very large pharmaceutical company as a sales rep. And so I made her a promise. I said, I'll go to the library. I'll bring home everything I can find pro-vaccine and anti-vaccine.
Wait, because you work for a pharmaceutical company, you went to a library. What have those two statements even remotely got to do with each other? That's like saying I work for Lamborghini, the luxury car manufacturer, so I'm going for a swim. It's a total non sequitur, and the only reason I can think that you would bring it up was a weird attempt at an argument from authority, which doesn't work on so many levels. First, anyone can go to a library and pick up all the books on whatever, and second, you being a salesman for something in no way means you understand the inner workings of that product. If that in fact was what you were trying to allude to. I mean, you clearly don't. You think vaccines are bad.
And you can read for yourself, and then you can make a decision.
And let me guess, you brought bugger all of the evidence for the efficacy of vaccines back, and every last scrap of anti-vaccine propaganda, I mean research, that you could possibly lay your grubby little mitts on. That's just a guess, backed up by the power of observation and inference. That is to say, you're an idiot / and or a liar, so I have very, very low expectations of you.
And so that's what I did. I went and scoured the periodicals in the libraries. I actually found a very small stack of information that was pro-vaccine.
Apart from, well, bollocks, the periodicals? Which periodicals? Do you mean newspapers and other things that come out regularly? Or do you mean academic journals specifically? And if you do mean academic journals, again, which ones? How many of them? And how far back did they go? If they only keep the most up-to-date ones, then depending on when they were published, they are going to have more or less articles on vaccines anyway, and at the end of the day, there is just an upper limit to how much data they even contain, as they are about new information, not all the information. And regardless, if they are scientific journals etc., then they're going to contain pretty much purely pro-vaccine articles, and that should tell you something about the scientific consensus.
And yet I came home with boxes full of books and articles that were anti-vaccine.
Books and articles. So, not scientific journals then. But, well, we all know it was going to be a series of pseudoscience anyway. And that most important of anti-vax weapon, the extremely emotionally charged story from a layman about how they are convinced that the thing that happened at the same or similar time as the vaccine was given to their children was 100% caused by the vaccine's #fact. Because as we all know, correlation always equals causation, so would people please stop eating cheese? I don't want to die.
I just gave them to her and let her make up her own mind. And I would come home from work and she would be reading the stuff and crying from what she was reading.
Well, I never. Would you look at that? And other cliched reactions of zero surprise. She's crying about the things that she read. And again, as we all know, if something makes you upset and or angry, that means it's true fact, and you can't deny my reality, etc. That's why you know you can't trust science. I mean, what? The Earth is a globe and we are spinning through space and that's fine and boring. But the government is hiding that we are on a giant upside down banana and they lie to us and space is actually made of mouldy bread and silk. Well, that makes too much nonsense not to be true. Someone's going to have to pay for this.
And so by the time my child was born, we were both
thoroughly, deeply misinformed about vaccines and science, and almost certainly let go from your job because you wouldn't want a militant atheist selling Bibles and you wouldn't want a hardcore vegan selling your sausages, so you definitely don't want a moron selling your medicine. I'm sorry, did I say moron? I meant anti-vaxxer. I do so often get them confused.
On the same page about vaccination. And it was interesting because I had my OBGYN, or my wife's OBGYN, sit me down in his office and say, look, you work for a large pharmaceutical company. What do you mean you're not vaccinating?
Like I said, that's a bit confusing. Like, why do you believe anything that they sell works? If you believe that one of their products is actively harming people and doesn't do what they say it does. And if you do think all their products are dangerous, aren't you kind of a piece of crap for continuing to sell them despite that? I mean, some people say, a job's a job. But I wouldn't work for a company that sells teddy bears full of used needles to kids. No, no, no. I would start that company.
And my company actually made a lot of the vaccines. And we had a vaccine division and everything else. And I told him flat out why. We had a huge discussion.
Actually, what you had was an incoherent ramble about the things that you think you know at a person who actually understands it and couldn't wrap your head around why this person, who knows so much more about it than you, dares to not immediately bow down to your great big brain.
About it, and while he didn't agree, we still went to the course that I wanted.
That's interesting. And what about your wife? I mean, maybe after hearing them talk, she was having doubts about her moron husband and his stupid books that contain no science whatsoever, but a lot of very sad stories. But from the sounds of it, you were there, ready to put your foot down on her dissent. Who does she think she is? I have the penis. That means I outrank her. Or was it outwank her?
During a training session with Merck, they brought in their corporate attorneys. And I just happened to ask a question, where do most of our lawsuits come from and how large are they and so on. And one of the attorneys said flat out that most and almost all of our lawsuits come from the vaccine division.
Oh, well, that's definitely a question relevant to the actual efficacy or otherwise of vaccines. As we all know, Court cases are only ever decided based on exact scientific fact, and no one has ever wrongfully gone to prison, and that unbelievable amounts of morons who buy into this crap will consistently barge into courts with their untestable belief that post hoc ergo propter hoc would certainly have nothing to do with that fact.
What I like to say to people watching this video is to really do your own research, all right? If you're on the fence about vaccines or wondering at all,
I say don't do that, because you are probably an idiot. What you should do is talk to professionals, as many of them as you like, and start totting up how many of them think that vaccines are safe and, more importantly, effective, and how many are big crazies trying to sell you herbal supplements and their latest book. And, more importantly, not to discount that overwhelming number of doctors agreeing with each other as a conspiracy, but the simple fact that vaccines work. Why, hello there, you terrible people, the best kind of people. It's me, Sir Sick. Could you not tell? I just wanted to remind you all to subscribe, push the bell icon, and to check out my various social media things for other equally pointless content. And more importantly, to make sure that you know when a video comes out. Recently, it seems YouTube doesn't want you to know because I am so handsome, famous, and good at the sex, and they are jealous, obviously. It really helps me out if you do, and apparently, if you are notification belled up, they have reset it or something, so check them settings to make sure you're getting what you're supposed to. Hopefully, we can get my numbers back up, because my self-worth is directly related to how many internet people show up on my videos. I'm sure that's completely healthy, right? Also, don't forget to panic buy Sick Brand merch, and don't forget to panic crowd support the channel. Thanks very much.